This video will get you started in using TestOut. Once you have registered and have a username and login, you go to testout.com, click the login button, and enter your login username and your password, and then click Secure Sign In. When you sign in to TestOut, you are taken to the home screen. You are enrolled in this class. The easiest way to get to the information and the labs is to click on the name of the product over here, TestOut Desktop Pro. We click on that. It takes us to wherever we left off last time. If you go to this menu up here and click it, it takes you to the course outline. I'm going to go to section 0, which allows us to get started. This explains how to use TestOut and Desktop Pro. There is nothing to turn in here, so to speak. There are no labs that are graded. However, remember that in TestOut, everything is recorded. How much time you spent watching this video, how much time you spent doing this, when you logged in, when you logged out, and all of that can be viewed by your instructor. So please do the work and make a good grade. Now, after you've looked at how to use Desktop Pro, then after you go through those sections, for instance, here is the first section. You can play the video and you can turn volume up and down for the video.
How easy it is to navigate through the labs and product.
You may go full screen by clicking here. You can press Escape on your keyboard to get out of full screen. You can see an interactive script by clicking here. And as you hear the sound of the voice of the narrator, you can see that you can read it while you are hearing it, and that helps people learn better to do both. Or you can read the whole thing. If you're not an audio learner particularly, you can just read through it and gain the information that way. These are interactive, meaning that if you click a section in the script, it will automatically go to that point in the video.
Specific topic you want to review. The next activity type are the lab simulation.
Notice that it works the other way as well. You can move the video to a certain spot, resume the auto scroll, and it will go right to where the video is talking. When you are done with one video or one set of information, you can click the right arrow here and it will take you to the next section, which is Chapter 0, Section 2. You can go back to the previous section this way. Or you can go up to the menu and choose whatever section you want to go to and go directly to it that way. When you look at the menu, looking in Chapter 1 for instance, Chapter 1, Section 1 has 9 different things. Some are videos, some are information to read, and then this last one here that has a little mouse icon and has the word lab in it, that is something that is going to be graded and be part of your homework grade. So there is only one of those at the end of Chapter 1. Let's look at how the lab works. I'm going to open that lab. It tells me what the lab will be about, and we click on Start Lab. It says waiting for the simulation to load, and notice nothing seems to be happening. That's because nothing is happening. It says a pop-up blocker may be preventing simulation window from opening. This is all discussed in that section 0. In Google Chrome, the pop-up blocker is up here, and if I click on it, I can say always allow pop-ups from this website. And when I say done, now I'm going to stop waiting for the simulation to load and start it again. And now you notice the little yellow bar, and now the simulation is loaded, and you follow the directions over here. Close and then reopen Internet Explorer. I would click the X box over here to close it, and to reopen it I would go down on the taskbar and open Internet Explorer. It tells me you did that well. Now go to the next task, and it says here's the next task, and you repeat that until you finish the lab. At any point in time you can click I'm done with this lab, and it says, so far, here's what you have done. You did the first one, got it right, but you hadn't done anything else, so they're all marked wrong. I can say, that's okay, I'm going to continue and say done, because you can do these labs as many times as you want, and it's only your highest score that counts on your homework average. So I could come back later, start the lab, and it would say, do you want to start where you left off, or do you want to start from the beginning? At any point, I can go ahead and score this lab, and it says, here's your final score. You made a 13. And I say, well, that's not very good. But I can come back anytime I want to before the deadline and work it again and make a higher score. So if I go to chapter 2 and start watching the videos there, then later I come back to chapter 1 at the end, section 1 of chapter 1, and I go back to that skills lab. I can say start the lab, and I previously did this. I could start it again, or I could start from the beginning, whatever I want to do. Close and then reopen Internet Explorer. I am going to do that again. And let's see what the second task is. It says go to this website, rmksupplies.com. So we would go here in the simulation. You don't want to go to the real address bar of this browser, or it will take you away from the TestOut website. You're staying within this simulation, which is underneath this gray bar with the Done button and above the black taskbar. This is the simulation window. So I would go here, and I would want to go to rmksupplies.com. There are some shortcuts that you can use. You can just type the middle part and do Control Enter, and it will put the www in front of it. It will put the .com after it. And now I'm going to go ahead and say I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and submit this and score it. Now, we continue and do that as long as we want. Notice Chapter 1, Section 2 has 4 labs. Chapter 1, Section 3 has 5 labs at the end. Some of the labs take just a couple of minutes. Some may take 15 minutes. Do not wait until the last minute before the deadline to start working on the labs. Start them several days ahead, or maybe even a week ahead. You could actually do the whole semester's worth of labs within the first 2 weeks of the semester and be done with all the labs. And all you'd have to do then is take the 4 or 5 tests when they open up and when they come due. How do we see our current grades? Well, if we go to the home screen, over here there's a button that says Reports. And if I click on that, there are different kinds of reports. There's a score sheet, there's a product usage that shows my time, and here's one that shows my license information. I'm going to run that one first, and it says, here's the product I have, here's when it expires. Now yours will probably expire sometime much later than this. This was just a couple of weeks trial code that the company gave me to do this demonstration. So I can close that report. I can download that report in a spreadsheet format, or I can run the report again to refresh it. Another report would be product usage. It would tell me the time I've spent on different things. Here are the times in labs. I can specifically say I just want certain dates from here to here, but the one you're going to be most interested in probably is your score sheet. I'm going to run that, and notice it lists every lab that is in this piece of software. There are 155 labs. There are only 115 of those assigned, and we'll look at that on the assignment sheet in the next video. So here's where you can see your scores. Notice I made a 19 on this as my average. 13 was my lowest score, 25 was my highest score, and here's my newest score on that skills lab. Here's one that I had done earlier. You can see everything you've done, and the main thing you're interested in is this highest score, because that's what's going to be recorded as of the deadline for that assignment.